Hey, scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today coming at you with a 2-for-1 video. I'm going to be working on a 9x12 a full-size layout like you see here and the companion pocket page all in one because I kept both of those layouts pretty simple so they fit in one video. So I'm using this old paper from Amy Tangerine. I believe the Rise and Shine collection was probably 2013, 2014, somewhere around there. I have this paper left over, and I always try to use the feather side, but the back side, which is like a teal with a handkerchief border, worked really well for this photo. And with this, this is a PinkFreshStudio, their new travel collection. I'm not sure what it's called. Let me, whoop, I got it sitting right next to me. Maybe I can look. I don't know. Anyway, I'm using that collection plus a touch of Crate Paper, their beachy travel-y collections from the last few years. It's called Out and About. That's what it's called, Out and About. So I have these two papers from the Out and About collection, and I wanted to do something different than what I normally do. I do a lot of paper layering, but it's kind of sort of similar paper layering a lot of the time. So I thought a little bit outside the square or rectangle or paper mat, I suppose, and I decided to put my pattern paper up in the corner here. So you saw me just trimming those down and making them work for this 9x12 page, and I started by cutting the stripe paper because I knew I wanted it to be the bigger paper, and then I layered the blue paper over it so that I could get a nice even stripe. Then you saw me trim it down there as well because it was a little bit too thick. So now I need to arrange my photos, and I wasn't quite sure what direction I wanted to go with this. I kind of like it down here in this corner, but I'm really big on centering and offsetting my photos. And so since I broke out of my paper strip box, my paper mat box, I decided to keep it simple the rest of the way around. So these are some Crate Paper chipboards and things like that from actually not this year's beachy collection but last year's, which I'm not sure what it was called. I think maybe Away We Go, but that is totally just pulling that out of my butt, so it's probably not called that. So I'm just kind of auditioning what I think might work here. I already pulled out some of the things that I think might work. This page and its companion page are actually about the hotel itself and how we ended up spending time in the hotel a lot because when we go travel, we often skimp on the hotel so that we can save some money to do some fun things. But this vacation was all about the actual hotel itself, so we spent a lot of time at the hotel. Patrick and I spent a lot of time in the room, on the balcony reading, or he was playing his game. Even the kids spent some time in the hotel room, but they really had the run of the hotel because it had pools and it had a water park and it had an arcade. And so this was really the first vacation that we had where the kids pretty much just determined their own itinerary with what they wanted to do, and if they wanted to sit in the room and look at their phones for a little while and relax, that was fine with me too, because it was just about relaxing and getting away for a few days, surprise vacation. So these two photos are of Patrick and I out on the balcony of the hotel room, and we were obviously right there on the beach, which we really enjoyed. So we took a few photos. This is actually during right after sunrise, so it's pretty early in the morning still. And my journaling is going to be about, on this side, is going to be about how cool it was to have the ocean right outside your door, and how we've now seen the sun set on the west coast because that's where we're from, and we've seen the sun rise over the ocean on the east coast, and how kind of cool that is. So yeah, that's what this page is about. And then the other side of the page is going to have more hotel photos and the way that we spent our time when we weren't exploring and wandering at Myrtle Beach. So I have this sheet of cut aparts here from the PinkFreshStudio line as well. I'm just going to cut out this yellow one because I felt like we needed a little bit of a break from the blue. And I'm going to keep this side really linear. There's not going to be a ton of layering, but I'm going to use the back side of the background paper that I had and I'm going to use, since it's like a ledger paper, I'm going to use it for my journaling, which really takes up a large block of space on the left-hand side here. So because it's so linear and so blocky now, I'm just going to go with it instead of trying to break the grid as I often do. I'm gonna let it go, and I'm gonna go with the grid this time because I have a lot of square embellishments, a lot of rectangle embellishments, and honestly, it goes well with a pocket page on the right hand side, so it works for me. I like to change up the way I do things sometimes, and you can see that I had that ticket sort of off kilter, and I put it back centered or straight up and down because I was like, no, I'm just going to go with this grid all together. I want to use this arrow, but I'm not sure where to put it yet. I also want to use that explore more because it's black, and I'm about to bring in some black alphabets, and obviously Patrick is wearing black as well, and the other side of the page is sort of dark, so I want to bring in some darkness to this side just so that they go a little bit better together. I'm going to add a title here down in the corner, and it's going to be room with a view, and then I'm going to add this arrow to the title to take up some of that space underneath room. You can see how linear this is turning out. I really enjoyed how simple this process was, and sometimes I like to do more, sometimes I like to keep things simple. It just depends on what mood I'm in, so my pages vary. So I've got all of my embellishments down now. That beach pool thing is just a little, like just slightly crooked, and I just can't get it to unstick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it all the way off. Then I'm just going to fix the tilt just enough that it doesn't bother me anymore. Hello, hair. And that's much better. So I'm going to add in my journaling on that card now. After I move down the width, and you can see when I move down the W, it is actually 2 V's. For some reason, on that alphabet page with a million letters, I ran out of the W's first. How is it even possible? But I did. So I made it out of 2 V's because I am not going to waste those alphabets. I love them. So now I'm going to add in my journaling. I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. There we go, journaling set, and I'm going to move on to the other side. So now I've got this companion pocket page. You can see up there in the top corner of a 4x6 of Finn and Karsten in the hotel room, which they're the two that spent the most time in the hotel room. Joe makes friends wherever he goes, so he made some friends down on the beach, or down in the pool area actually, and played with them a lot. So I have some embellishments here. I pulled out the stickers from this year's Crate Paper Beach collection. I think it's called Sunny Days. And I also have some word bits and things from the PinkFreshStudio travel collection. So you can watch me screw this up. Ugh, every time, man, every time. Luckily, I did manage to get it off mostly, enough to where I don't notice it anymore. But I did screw up that sticker, so I'm going to have to overcome that later on down the line because I am going to use that flower. So basically, when I approach my pocket pages, when they are companion pages and I've already told the story that I'm going to tell, I just like to make sure that each photo has sort of an embellishment or a word bit or something like that, just so that none of them look plain. I don't normally, I don't love doing full 3x4 cards. You know that I'm a big fan of color, so I like to print my photos a little bit smaller and matte them so that I get lots of color going on in my pages. But for my vacation photos, like I talked about in the last video, I printed all of my pocket page photos at full 3x4 or full 4x6 in order to not be overwhelmed with the 20 pages that I'm going to be doing of my vacation. So what I like to do instead is to make sure that everything is embellished and everything has just a little bit here and there. So I'm creating clusters and places for me to journal. So I have a little journal spot down there on that book photo. You can see all 3 of those photos on the bottom are of me reading with my feet in different places. One is on the balcony where you can see the beach, one is by the pool, and one is in the room with Patrick napping in the background. I thought that that told a cool little story, so I wanted to make sure that those were included, and I thought that they were appropriate on this part of the spread with all of the hotel photos. And then I want to tell a little story about the kids having the run of the hotel and choosing to spend time in the hotel or in the water park or in the arcade. So I put that underneath the hotel chipboard up there on that 4x6 photo. Other than that, I don't have a lot to say about these photos, so I'm just adding little pretty bits and pieces. I really wanted to add that PinkFreshStudio like tickety thing there, but it was not fitting well. It'll fit much better on this photo of Patrick, so I'm going to put a flower on this photo of Patrick and layer it with that tag tickety thing. Trim this off, and I'm going to reuse the floral, at least part of the floral, on a different photo. You know, I hate throwing things away if they can be reused. So it's going to go up here on this photo of me as soon as I get it all unstuck. And I just take this DIY your scraps thing to the max here, and I trim up this leaf and put that on there. And then I even put a trimmed off piece of the little tiny bit of flower over that. Really made sure that whole floral got used as much as possible. There we go. Getting close to done here. I think I want to add in a few more things, but all of these are too big, so I'm going to go into the sticker sheets, and I'm going to look for some word bits or little icons since they are a lot smaller in these sticker sheets. I want to use that camera, and I'm going to put it in that center photo of me by the pool. So I'm looking for a word bit that will work with the sentiment there, and it says, I believe this one says, let yourself relax, which is perfect. So I cut it apart so that I can make it fit in my space. There we go. And that also frames out Finn in that photo, who is right above that let word, so that was a happy coincidence. Then I'm going to put this one up in the top right photo of me. I think it says this is the life. Had to cut that one up too to fit in the space. Looking around, seeing if there's anything else I want to add. I'm going to add in my journaling, and I'm going to call it good. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. And if you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I am at Tracy M. Reed, and I'd love to be besties over there as well. All right, thank you.